he's perfectionist, as almost everyone we've discussed would fall into that personality characteristic.
Jack Nicholson's personality has always been defined by a relentless perfectionism, a quality that aligns with nearly everyone we've ever discussed in the world of cinema. He is a man who consistently strives for excellence, someone for whom the word good enough simply does not exist. In every role, in every project, Nicholson has pursued his work with an intensity and focus that borders on obsession, crafting performances that remain etched in the annals of Hollywood history. His illustrious career spans over 5 decades, during which he has earned 12 Academy Award nominations, a testament to both his talent and his unwavering commitment to his craft. Yet, behind the dazzling accolades and the iconic performances, Nicholson harbored a secret that had nothing to do with his acting career, a secret that revolved around his son, Ray. Observers over the years noticed the almost uncanny resemblance between father and son. It was not just physical. The similarity extended to expressions, to the level of intensity that seemed to radiate from their eyes, and even to the smile that carried an almost unsettling familiarity. Despite this connection, Ray resisted following in his father's footsteps and chose a career outside the world of acting, eventually stepping away entirely after 2024. Nicholson himself, however, had always been keenly aware that the day of revelation would come. He recognized the unmistakable patterns, the nuances that made the bond between father and son so extraordinary, and he understood the inevitability of the public discovering the truth. Even as a young man, Nicholson's life was shadowed by secrets that would follow him for nearly 40 years, shaping his understanding of family, identity, and the delicate balance between private life and public persona. It is this intersection of talent, secrecy, and the relentless pursuit of perfection that forms the backbone of Nicholson's extraordinary journey, a journey that is as much about the man himself as it is about the hidden truths that define the human experience. Nicholson's story begins on April 22, 1937, in Neptune, New Jersey, in what appeared to be a perfectly ordinary family. Yet beneath the surface, there existed a complex web of carefully constructed lies, a network of secrets that would shape his understanding of identity for decades to come. As a child, he was led to believe that Ethel May Nicholson was his mother, and that June Nicholson, a woman older than him, was his elder sister who had left home to pursue a career in movies. Even his aunt, Lorraine, was cast in the role of a sister figure, further complicating the narrative he grew up believing. This intricate deception was not the work of a single individual, but a collective effort, meticulously orchestrated by family members, neighbors, and friends. The arrangement had been set in motion even before Nicholson's birth, ensuring that the truth would remain hidden for as long as possible. To further complicate matters, Nicholson was actually born in New York City, while June was away from Neptune, a strategic decision designed to conceal the circumstances of his birth from the people back home. For 37 years, the secret remained tightly sealed, and the child grew up in a world where the reality of his family life was obscured by a web of lies and half-truths. Throughout his formative years, Nicholson navigated a confusing landscape of assumed identities and hidden realities. He interacted with the very people who were part of the conspiracy to keep him in the dark, unknowingly surrounded by a network of silent witnesses who ensured that he would never learn the truth. From neighbors to relatives, everyone played a part in maintaining the illusion, reinforcing the narrative that had been crafted with careful precision. The silence was absolute, and Nicholson moved through his early life unaware of the forces shaping his perception of family. It wasn't just a matter of secrecy, it was a matter of survival, of social reputation, and of protecting the fragile lives of those involved. The plan was deliberate, meticulously executed, and designed to maintain a facade of normalcy while concealing a reality that was anything but ordinary. This early chapter in Nicholson's life set the stage for the complexities he would face later, highlighting the intricate interplay between personal history, family dynamics, and the often hidden truths that define our lives. At the heart of this long-standing secret was June Nicholson, the woman who would eventually be revealed as Jack Nicholson's true mother. At just 17 years old, June was already a highly regarded performer, celebrated for her position as an Earl Carroll dancer. She had left Neptune for New York in pursuit of opportunity, ambition driving her every step. Yet life had other plans, and her pregnancy brought the first signs of complication to her carefully constructed world. The father of the child, a man named Don, had been married and had previously been involved with June before claiming paternity. Matters became more complex when June admitted that she did not know who the father was. In 1937, social mores were unforgiving, particularly for a young woman in the public eye. Being a single mother carried with it the potential to destroy careers, tarnish reputations, and limit future prospects. The weight of societal judgment and personal guilt fell heavily upon June, forcing her to make an excruciating decision. In a move that would define the next several decades, June resolved to give up her child while simultaneously taking on the role of his sister. The arrangement allowed her to remain close while preserving the family's reputation, an intricate balance between concealment and care. This extraordinary act of self-denial remained undisclosed until 1974, a secret carried silently for 37 years. It was a story of sacrifice, of navigating societal expectations, and of making impossible choices in a world that offered little compassion for those who strayed from its strictures. June's narrative is more than a footnote in Nicholson's biography. It is a central element in understanding the man he became. Her decisions, made under intense pressure and scrutiny, shaped his early life, informing his understanding of identity, family, and loyalty. The hidden truth of Nicholson's parentage was not merely a private matter, but a story intertwined with societal pressures, personal ambition, and the complex calculus of human relationships. The long-hidden truth began to surface in 1974, at a time when Nicholson was riding the crest of his career. He had recently completed Chinatown at the age of 37, a period marked by professional triumph and personal reflection. Time magazine, preparing a major cover story, meticulously verified details of Nicholson's life, only to uncover peculiar gaps in the documentation. As investigators pursued the story, Nicholson learned that the man who resembled his father might still be alive. The revelation came from an unexpected source, his Uncle Shorty. Initially met with denial, the confirmation that June was indeed his mother and Ethel May his grandmother left Nicholson reeling. His immediate reaction was one of disbelief. "Someone called me and said my father is still alive and that June was my mother. Not Ethel May," he said. "That is the most utterly twisted thing I have ever heard." By this time, both June and Ethel May had passed away, eliminating any chance for Nicholson to ask them directly why such an elaborate deception had been necessary. The truth, painstakingly hidden for decades, suddenly emerged against the backdrop of a flourishing career, casting a long shadow over the narrative he had always known. The discovery coincided with the release of Chinatown, a film that itself dealt with dark family secrets and hidden motives, an uncanny parallel that heightened the drama of the real-life revelation. This moment of truth was more than a personal revelation. It represented the unearthing of a lifetime of carefully managed illusions. Nicholson was confronted with the consequences of secrecy, the emotional impact of deception, and the profound realization that the people he had trusted most had orchestrated an elaborate facade. It was a turning point, both personally and professionally, a juncture that would inform his understanding of family, trust, and the fragile boundary between public perception and private reality. Nicholson's career began in 1955, not in front of the camera but behind the scenes. He worked as a mail clerk in MGM's animation department, assisting the creators of iconic cartoons such as Tom and Jerry, William Hanna, and Joseph Barbera. Though he had the opportunity to pursue a career as an artist, Nicholson declined, drawn instead to the allure of acting. His first acting role came with The Crybaby Killer in 1958, a film about a teenage boy who kidnaps a woman and her baby. Released when Nicholson was just 20, the film was initially a financial failure and largely forgotten until its restoration in 2006. Despite this rocky start, Nicholson persisted, demonstrating the resilience and determination that would define his career. In 1963, while filming The Terror alongside Boris Karloff, Nicholson nearly drowned during a scene in the ocean while wearing a heavy military outfit. The production was chaotic, requiring 5 directors over 9 months, beginning as a 2-day shoot on old sets. Amidst this turmoil, Nicholson's personal life also saw milestones. He married actress Sandra Knight in 1962 and had a daughter, Jennifer, in 1963. Though the marriage lasted until 1968, Nicholson faced significant challenges securing steady acting work. During this period, he turned to writing, contributing to the psychedelic film The Trip in 1967, which proved commercially successful, and Head for the Monkeys the following year. By 1969, Nicholson finally achieved a breakthrough with Easy Rider, a role that would change the trajectory of his career and establish him as a central figure in Hollywood. The casting of Easy Rider was fraught with tension. In early 1968, Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, and Rip Torn met in a New York hotel to discuss the film. During their conversation, a disagreement arose over redneck characters Hopper had encountered while scouting locations in the South. Rip Torn, a proud Texan, took offense and tempers flared. The argument escalated until Hopper brandished a steak knife, a shocking act that could have derailed the project entirely. Ultimately, Torn walked away, leaving Nicholson to assume the role of the drunk lawyer George Hanson. This opportunity marked a turning point in Nicholson's life and career. The role not only elevated him to prominence, but also showcased his ability to bring depth, nuance, and intensity to a character, solidifying his place in Hollywood history. From this moment onward, Nicholson's trajectory was unstoppable. A combination of talent, perseverance, and the dramatic unfolding of both personal and professional revelations shaping the man he became. Following the seismic breakthrough of Easy Rider, Jack Nicholson's career entered a phase that would cement his place as one of Hollywood's most formidable actors. The early 1970s were a period of intense creativity and recognition. Films like 5 Easy Pieces showcased his uncanny ability to portray men at odds with the world around them, balancing vulnerability with raw intensity. His performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was nothing short of transformative, a role that demanded not only emotional depth, but also a nuanced understanding of human psychology. Nicholson's method acting and perfectionism were legendary. Directors often spoke of his insistence on multiple takes until he achieved exactly the expression or nuance he envisioned. On the set of The Shining, Stanley Kubrick himself acknowledged Nicholson's tireless commitment, noting that the actor's intensity brought an unparalleled realism to the screen. Yet, the price of such dedication was immense. Co-stars occasionally found themselves unsettled by Nicholson's immersive approach, as if he truly became the characters he portrayed. Hollywood responded with accolades. Nicholson collected Academy Awards and Golden Globes, not as mere tokens of achievement, but as symbols of a career defined by relentless pursuit of artistic excellence. Off-camera, however, Nicholson maintained a careful balance between his public persona and private life. The world saw the charismatic, often unpredictable star, but very few were privy to the intricacies of his personal existence. Behind the fame, Nicholson continued to navigate the complexities of family, secrecy, and personal identity, an ongoing narrative that mirrored the layered characters he brought to life on screen. While Nicholson's professional life flourished, his personal life was equally complex. His marriage to Sandra Knight in the early 1960s, while brief, was a formative period, bringing the birth of his daughter Jennifer and early lessons in balancing love and ambition. Over the years, Nicholson became known not only for his roles but also for a series of high-profile relationships, each adding to the mystique that surrounded him. The story of his son, Ray, remained one of the most compelling and guarded aspects of Nicholson's private life. Despite the uncanny resemblance and public curiosity, Ray consistently resisted stepping into his father's shadow, choosing instead a life removed from acting and the Hollywood spotlight. Nicholson respected this choice, though the tension between public expectation and private desire remained palpable. Throughout these years, Nicholson skillfully navigated the scrutiny of media and public fascination. Rumors swirled, tabloids speculated, and the press sought glimpses behind the carefully maintained veil. Yet Nicholson's mastery of discretion allowed him to preserve the core of his private life. In this delicate dance, he demonstrated that even the most public of figures could maintain control over the truths they chose to reveal, crafting a narrative as deliberate and precise as any role he played on screen. Nicholson's life was marked not only by artistry, but also by the careful management of secrets and occasional controversies. Over the decades, the Hollywood landscape evolved, and Nicholson remained an enigmatic presence, skillfully balancing fame with privacy. The revelation of his parentage decades earlier had already cemented the fact that even Nicholson's closest relationships contained hidden layers, a pattern mirrored in his career and public persona. Throughout his career, Nicholson faced moments of tension and conflict on set. Stories of disputes with directors or co-stars often circulated, blending fact with the mythos that always seemed to surround him. Yet these instances, rather than diminishing his reputation, added to the aura of unpredictability and intensity that made him a cinematic force. Nicholson's public image, charismatic, occasionally volatile, intensely passionate, was carefully curated yet always authentic to the core of his personality. He demonstrated an extraordinary ability to navigate the liminal space between legend and reality, controlling what the world saw while keeping the most intimate truths close to his heart. The 1980s and 1990s brought Nicholson some of his most enduring roles, solidifying his reputation as one of the most versatile and captivating actors of his generation. Films such as Batman showcased his ability to inhabit complex, larger-than-life characters, blending menace with charisma. A Few Good Men demanded precision and moral authority, a stark contrast to the chaotic energy of his earlier work. While As Good as It Gets highlighted his capacity for vulnerability, humor, and understated charm. In every role, Nicholson's perfectionism remained evident. He approached scripts with meticulous care, dissecting dialogue, gestures, and emotional beats until every nuance aligned with his vision. Collaborations with legendary directors and actors became hallmarks of his career, creating a body of work that was not only critically acclaimed but also culturally influential. Even as the industry evolved, Nicholson remained a relevant, compelling presence, a testament to his adaptability, discipline, and innate talent. Looking back, Jack Nicholson's life is a mosaic of brilliance, secrecy, and relentless pursuit of perfection. From his early days in Neptune, New Jersey, navigating hidden family truths, to the dizzying heights of Hollywood stardom, his journey reflects the interplay between personal history and public achievement. The story of his parentage, the secrecy surrounding Ray, and the challenges of maintaining private life amidst global fame are integral threads in the tapestry of his existence. Nicholson's influence on Hollywood is immeasurable. He set a standard for acting, for professionalism, and for the audacity to take risks. Beyond the accolades, his life teaches profound lessons about perseverance, the complexity of identity, and the necessity of balancing public life with private truths. He remains a symbol of artistry, intensity, and human complexity, a figure whose legend is inseparable from the layered, fascinating life he has led. Even today, Nicholson's story continues to captivate. The combination of extraordinary talent, guarded secrets, and indelible presence ensures that his legacy will endure, inspiring future generations of actors, filmmakers, and audiences alike. In the final analysis, Jack Nicholson is not just a performer. He is a living testament to the extraordinary possibilities of talent, dedication, and the quiet, unspoken truths that shape us all. As Jack Nicholson moved into the later decades of his career, the Hollywood landscape had changed dramatically. The industry, often obsessed with youth and novelty, posed challenges for even the most legendary actors. Yet Nicholson approached aging with the same meticulous thoughtfulness that characterized his performances. He became selective about his roles, avoiding typecasting while seeking projects that allowed him to continue expressing his creative intensity. Nicholson's choices reflected a keen awareness of both his public persona and personal priorities. He understood that his time in the spotlight was finite, but he also recognized the opportunity to craft a lasting body of work that would endure beyond the immediate accolades. By choosing roles that aligned with his strengths, complex characters, moral ambiguity, and layered storytelling, he maintained relevance, even as younger actors emerged to dominate the industry. Even as the demands of Hollywood evolved, Nicholson's perfectionism and commitment to his craft remained steadfast. He adapted his acting style subtly, embracing the nuances of aging while preserving the energy and intensity that had always defined him. His later years were marked by a careful balance, embracing maturity without compromising the essence of the actor that the world had come to know and admire. Nicholson's influence extended beyond his roles on screen. Collaborations with acclaimed directors in the 1980s and 1990s revealed his keen understanding of cinematic storytelling. Directors often sought his input, recognizing the depth he could bring to a script. On set, Nicholson's approach was deliberate. He studied scripts intensely, dissected dialogue and gestures, and worked tirelessly to ensure that every nuance reflected the character's truth. He also served, at times, as an informal mentor to younger actors. Observing Nicholson at work offered lessons in discipline, creativity, and navigating the intricate dynamics of Hollywood sets. Despite his fame, he remained grounded in the craft, demonstrating that true artistry was as much about preparation and insight as it was about charisma and presence. Nicholson's selective approach to scripts reflected both his standards and his desire to leave a meaningful legacy. He turned down roles that did not resonate with him, preferring projects that allowed him to explore moral complexity, human psychology, or cultural relevance. These decisions reinforced his reputation as an actor who prioritized substance over fame, shaping the narrative of his career as a careful, deliberate journey rather than a mere sequence of performances. Throughout his life, Nicholson masterfully managed the delicate balance between the public persona and private existence. The world saw him as charismatic, intense, and occasionally unpredictable, but very few glimpsed the intimate truths that defined his personal life. Media appearances, interviews, and public events were carefully navigated, allowing Nicholson to maintain control over the story of his life. Despite his fame, Nicholson remained intensely private about family matters. The story of Ray, his son, and the complex family history that had shaped him was largely shielded from public scrutiny. In this way, Nicholson exemplified the tension that many celebrities face, the desire to engage with the world while protecting the core of their personal existence. Even as tabloids and journalists attempted to peel back layers of his life, Nicholson's discretion ensured that the most intimate truths remained guarded. The dichotomy of public versus private life was a defining feature of his existence. It allowed him to sustain his mystique, to cultivate a legend, and to navigate Hollywood on his own terms. Yet it also demanded vigilance, emotional resilience, and a consistent awareness of the boundaries between perception and reality. Aging, intense roles, and a life lived in the spotlight brought challenges. Nicholson faced both physical and emotional demands that tested his resilience. Yet, he approached each obstacle with the same determination that had driven him since his early career. His health, while occasionally fragile, never curtailed his commitment to his work. He remained deeply engaged, carefully selecting roles that he could execute with precision while preserving his well-being. Mental and emotional resilience were equally critical. The weight of decades of fame, personal secrecy, and intense public scrutiny required a steady inner resolve. Nicholson developed a philosophy of endurance, acknowledging challenges, confronting them with honesty, and using life experiences to deepen his performances. His ability to maintain vitality, creativity, and focus into later years became a hallmark of his career, demonstrating that true artistry is inseparable from the courage to face life's complexities head-on. Nicholson's presence transcended mere performance. He became a cultural icon. His influence reached beyond film into fashion, music, and popular imagination. Every appearance, every gesture, seemed imbued with a charisma that was uniquely Nicholson. Anecdotes and legends, both true and exaggerated, circulated, contributing to the mythology surrounding him. Stories of his intensity on set, his playful defiance of convention, and his larger-than-life persona became part of Hollywood folklore. His life mirrored the archetypal narrative of the enigmatic, brilliant star. Nicholson's ability to navigate secrecy, fame, and artistic integrity created a persona that was both real and mythic. Public fascination was fueled not only by his performances, but also by the stories surrounding his life. The hidden family secrets, the dramatic breakthroughs, and the intensity with which he approached both work and personal relationships. Looking back, Jack Nicholson's life stands as a testament to the extraordinary possibilities of talent, dedication, and human complexity. His journey from Neptune, New Jersey, navigating hidden family truths, to global stardom is a story of resilience, artistry, and relentless pursuit of perfection. He left a legacy defined not just by awards or iconic roles, but by the depth of character, the courage to confront personal truths, and the ability to maintain integrity amidst fame. Nicholson's influence on Hollywood is profound. He set new standards for acting, inspired generations of performers, and demonstrated the power of authenticity in both craft and character. His life offers enduring lessons, the value of perseverance, the importance of balancing public and private identity, and the necessity of confronting challenges with honesty and courage. Ultimately, Jack Nicholson is more than a legend. He is an embodiment of the intricate dance between talent, secrecy, and humanity. His story continues to inspire, reminding us that behind the glamour and accolades lies a life rich with complexity, triumph, and enduring mystery.